if Ishiba Shigeru loses his grip on power, has to be replaced, what happens with these talks with the U.S.? Because there's not going to be anybody to talk to.
Right. The if you mentioned is getting to be smaller still, and the scent of blood, if you like, is in the air. So it's likelier that Mr. Ishiba is going to lose a substantial number of seats in the upper house election for the LDP and the coalition. What about the tariff negotiations? I don't think there is going to be any quick solution. Whoever is going to be in the position of the Japanese prime minister, it'll continue for some time, and whether Ishiba could remain in office itself is an open-ended question. There is going to be no victor, no winner in this upcoming election, and everyone is going to be the loser because the opposition party leaders, none of them will be strong enough to take charge in leading the government. So it's going to be a complex coalition building process that will ensue. And whether or not Ishiba can stay or Ishiba will be replaced is itself a question. But I doubt if there is anyone who is going to be interested in becoming prime minister in this difficult circumstances.
Oh, dear. Okay. Some Japan watchers look at the situation and go, look, with so much political uncertainty and Ishiba looking so incredibly weak, and not just according to polling, but, we had the head of the Japan Chief Executives Association, Nii Nami-san, on just yesterday. And it's very rare. I mean, this is not K-Downer, and it could actually be more influential than K-Downer. It's rare for Japanese big business to come out so publicly to criticize a sitting prime minister. So that part I note. But look, despite what's going on politically, or maybe in spite of it, is it a good thing that people like Asakawa-san are still there? He represents, Japanese bureaucracy and the elite, and there's always this consistency there, despite whatever happens in politics.
Well, I'm afraid that used to be the case. I'm not sure if that holds, because directions are being given more and more from the central authority, that is to say the prime minister's office. In the old days, as you say, that the line ministries, such as Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economy, held much greater sway. But ironically, since the political reform process began in the early 2000s, it is more of the Prime Minister's office's responsibility to set the goals. And if you have a very much weak Prime Minister, such as Mr. Ishiba, bureaucracies don't see clear-cut directions, and they cannot actually give anything consistent.
Professor Taniguchi, I want to shift gears a little bit here. If Japan can't rely on the United States, even as a trade partner, can it continue to rely on the United States to come to its defense as it has over the last 80 years?
Well, that's a question that a lot of people ask these days, but for me, it is incumbent, rather, upon Tokyo whether or not the United States could stay engaged in these Indo-Pacific regions, because Japan still is host to the largest military footprint of the United States outside of the United States. So if the United States loses, for instance, Japan, the United States automatically is going to lose everything that the United States military and people have spent so much time and effort and actually sacrifices upon securing their status in this Indo-Pacific region. I think Japan is going to play a kind of role as a force enhancer, force multiplier, by bringing in like-minded countries such as India, Australia, and some of the ASEAN nations to help strengthen the presence of the United States. And that actually is different from the ongoing tariff negotiations. Tariff negotiations do not actually specify Japan as a target. Everyone is dealing with the United States at the moment. 25% tariff for automotive sector is being imposed upon not just Japan, but also on South Korea and Europe, for instance, as well. So when it comes to security, well, frankly, I don't think there is any plan B.
You were talking about the possibility of this weakened alliance between the U.S. and Japan, and this tough negotiations perhaps it sort of laid bare their differences as well. That would definitely have a knock-on effect on countries like South Korea. Definitely invites the question of what China is going to do next. China seems to be making some moves when it comes to maritime disputes with South Korea, building some kind of installations and so on. Do you think it will embolden China enough to do something similar with Japan?
That's actually already doing similarly. There, I think, seems to be a set pattern when it comes to Chinese behavior. Each and every time they detect weaknesses, they will strengthen their military posture. And that's something that's going on throughout the Indo-Pacific region. Now, it's almost certain that the next government, Japan's government, is going to be even weaker. It's going to be a very good invitation, I think, to be given to the Chinese, who might escalate their military, actually, provocations, both to South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, above all else, and the Philippines and the like.